don't know if I was in that. I just
Girl.
smiled anyways.
Yeah.
Hello,
I feel
I'm
that.
Jessica Watson. Graduate students are not the only ones holding rallies.
So we're printing the GEO lead. If it is ready, whenever it's ready, we'll throw it at
But
you.
I'm saying, like, how are we reading it on a teleprompter?
So now Vigil is your lead.
Yeah.
You
Here's the
guys
anchor
changed
lead
it?
for GEO. If it happens, you've got to leave.
Okay.
Tonight on UI7 News, will undergraduate students be affected by the graduate student strike?
Also, dreamers fight for their degree and they unite together at a candlelit vigil to raise awareness.
And later, find out how the rise of online shopping has impacted local bookstores.
UI7 News starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, UI7 News, your U of I news source.
Hello, I'm Jessica Watson.
And I'm Anaja Smith. Welcome to this week's edition of UI7 News.
Graduate students are not the only one holding rallies around campus. Several organizations concerned about the immigration legislation under discussion in Congress held a vigil. UI7 News' Cole Hinkey has the report.
A group of Champaign community members are making their voices heard during a candlelight vigil in front of the alma mater statue to support DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Immigrants, and demanding action from Congress on the act.
Our Congress hasn't done its job. They've spent years, they keep saying that they're negotiating. The facts are such. These young people deserve to be here.
The fight in Congress over DACA could lead to the second government shutdown of 2018. DACA students at the university, or so-called dreamers who were brought to the U.S. by their parents, are left in the same state of limbo the act that protects them is in.
You have to constantly be thinking about different issues that come up because of your status, but just like tuition-wise, that would be one thing.
If Congress does not come to a decision with DACA soon, Conjas Lopez, along with all other DACA recipients, will lose their 2-year status, leaving them vulnerable for deportation. Conjas Lopez went on to say events like the vigil reassure her that she and her fellow DACA students have allies. One of those allies is Father Tom Royer, who has been an activist in the Champaign area for over 30 years, dating back to when he protested the Vietnam War.
Well, these are people I know personally. That's one very good reason. And I think basically it is an immoral issue that this country criminalizes people because they're immigrants.
For the moment, Conjas Lopez's future is unclear, but those attending the vigil made it clear that their fight will not end here. I am Cole Hankey with UI7 News.
The Champaign County Clerk's Office says early voting in the Illinois primary begins today. However, the campus early voting location at the Illini Union will not open until March 13th and will remain open until the start of spring break. Voters can go to the office of the Champaign County Clerk to cast their ballots. To find other early voting locations, you can visit www.champaigncountyclerk.com.
This Tuesday, the Champaign City Council reviewed the financial report and audit of the city's last fiscal year. After reviewing the reports, Champaign's net worth has decreased by $6.4 million. This is the first time Councilmember Clarissa Foreman has seen a change in the city's net worth since being elected to the council in 2017. This decrease in net worth from the past year will lead to less money being spent in this upcoming fiscal year. Foreman says he is not concerned about the future of the city and will work hard to get this city back on track.
Students who are used to deferred printing at campus libraries are in for a big surprise this semester. UI7's Patrick Lee has more.
Illini Cash is a new payment method that allows students to pay for their commodities and printing by simply swiping their iCard. Although it was implemented in hopes of simplifying the payment process, many students on the UIUC subreddit already have some complaints. One user states, Now they force you to buy a minimum of $5 Illini cash in order to print anything. Bertram Camber, a junior in civil and environmental engineering, says he began using Illini cash to pay for printing this semester after his college stopped providing free printing services.
Printing was never a concern for me or any of my friends or any of the people that I know in engineering. And then last semester they got rid of free printing at the engineering workstations for all engineers.
Camber says he frequently printed lab reports and projects at school printers, only to have the print job delayed due to insufficient funds in his Illini cash account.
It was easy to use. I didn't really know how to check my balance on it, so I would kind of just keep printing until it would like run out and like tell me as I'm printing. It would be like, oh, refill your thing now.
Justin Gray is a student assistant at the main library and says the transition has been bumpy, as many students have never heard of Illini cash.
A lot of people have been confused, to be honest. Like, most people didn't know that that was even a thing. So we've had to tell several people that you actually have to do Illini cash now.
Gray believes students will eventually get used to using Illini cash.
Get the Illini cash onto their account has been fairly simple. I just think they could have done a better job at like letting people know that it actually happened, but I do like the implementation though.
So if you're up late printing that 10-page paper at the UGL, remember to load up on those Illini cash credits. In Urbana, I'm Patrick Lee, UI7 News.
Graduate students here at the University of Illinois are threatening to go on strike if they cannot reach a contract agreement by the end of the month. Here with the latest on where those talks stand is UI7's Kelly Walker.
Universities remind students how much they are appreciated and contributing by attending. Yet, the co-president of the Graduate Employees Organization, Gus Wood, explains how faculty hasn't seen that same appreciation for their presence on campus.
Teaching assistants, graduate assistants, faculty and staff members are not valued at all. We have to bargain and beg and just scrounge for any type of money. We usually are making below the standard, the published standard of living. We usually have to do things like go on strike to even get basic minimum requirements for living conditions.
While TAs are ready to go on strike for tuition waivers, many students fear that their own education might be in jeopardy because of it. Student Carmen Carteras explains how she was informed about classes being canceled as an effect of the strike.
Teacher mine mentioned that we might not be having a few classes because the teachers or like the TAs are going to go on strike most likely. Personally, I think what they're doing, like they have the right to do the strike and everything. It's good for them. I understand that they have their right. It just kind of sucks for me because I really rely on the TAs for a lot of the help of the classwork and all of that. So.
With teachers, teaching assistants, so it happened quite a bit in high school. So yeah. We just didn't have school in high school when they went.
Another student, Christian McKinney, explains how he's no stranger to teachers striking.
Many of us also love to teach, and I experienced that a lot with my fellow colleagues here who are teaching assistants. That there is a real benefit in educating, and the more you do it, the better not only is your own research, but that you're actually preparing somebody else to challenge things and think critically about their own particular condition.
And the upcoming strike gives the university time
to give the university administration every opportunity to resolve this at the table.
We
felt it would be unfair for us to declare a strike without giving the admin.
Lawmakers are pushing a 2-year, $300 billion budget deal Wednesday in the aftermath of a government shutdown. According to the AP, the additional $89 billion will be provided in disaster relief for areas that were affected by hurricanes in the past month. Although the bipartisan decision marked a turning point in the divided legislative branch, many Democrats still disagree with the budget, citing the military budget increase as irresponsible due to the crippling debt it would put the country in.
Here with our UI7 weather update is Kelly Rice.
Thanks, Anaja. So is anyone planning on going to Chicago this weekend?
I definitely am, yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, there is a huge snowstorm rolling into that area starting tonight, which may make you want to rethink your travel plans. Take a look at the radar here. You can see the storm coming in from the west. Tune into my full forecast for more details on the storm. And going back to today's weather, it is currently partly cloudy with a temperature of about 28 degrees. The sunset will begin at around 5:20 p.m.
Coming up on UI7 News, UI7 Sarah Olin finds out why some Champaign residents have chosen a more non-traditional way of learning. And UI7's Emma Lee speaks to local bookstore owners to see how e-readers have impacted sales.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
So we were walking to school.
I started thinking about lunch. Mom packed me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really want
smart.
cheese pizza.
Sometimes her mind wanders.
We should have a sleepover.
I remember saying, Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
I really hope she doesn't
I
have
really
another
hope we
bad
don't
day
have
at
another
school
bad day at
today.
school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Alkel's Hall is in the works to receive major renovations after a campus committee approved a $20+ million allocation of funds. The $44 million project will be half funded by student fees and will be designed to modernize many campus buildings. Alkelt is expected to receive upgrades inside and outside of the building. Research
We are having a lot of maintenance issues with the building. Being over 100 years old, it's about time that certain things are replaced. We're working with a number of buildings on the quad, and this is one of the last buildings on the quad to receive a major renovation.
Research says they plan to fix problems with Alkeld's roof, masonry, windows, and ventilation. The university hopes to secure the remaining funds up for this project by 2020.
While the Illini focus on their studies on campus, many Champaign residents take their studies home. UI7 Sarah Olin has more.
These Champaign kids are off to get some after-school physical activity. What all these kids share is their school is also their home. Many local residents are making the decision to homeschool. Champaign homeschooler Ann Arns describes what led her to teach her own children.
I, just thought about all of the options. It was time for my oldest, who's now in 3rd grade, to start preschool, and I thought I can just do this at home.
Arns and her friend, Selena Trujillo, bring their children to the Champaign Gymnastics Academy once a week. Trujillo says this serves as a great way to keep her kids active. She describes how this has helped her son.
He loves to get moving, so for him, I think it's helped just with some confidence and help at least get his health going.
On the other side of Champaign, Classical Conversations, a Christian organization, creates a community environment for homeschooled children and the parents that teach them. Director for Foundations Laura Oltoff says some people have the wrong impression of homeschooling.
Homeschoolers, sometimes people think of kids just being at home and being isolated.
Oltoff says the Champaign community has been very valuable for homeschoolers.
We can turn to other resources. There's a ton out there online, printed curriculum, and then just other people.
The Champaign and Urbana public libraries have plenty of resources for homeschoolers. They have links, different individual co-ops, and homework help for parents and kids. I'm Sarah Olin for UI7 News.
According to the Champaign Public Health Department, the percent of emergency room visits for flu-like illnesses have gone up from 3.1% to 4.5%. Meanwhile, convenient care and physician group visits have gone up from 22.7% to 23.3%, the second highest peak since 2009. The health department says there have been 8 reported deaths from influenza and pneumonia so far this year, but none of those were young adults or children.
The advancement of technology has allowed people to buy and read books on their devices without going to a bookstore. UI7 News' Emma Lee talks to local bookstore owners to find out how their businesses are affected by change.
A Champaign man.
Oh, this is house, right?
Spending hours in a bookstore is one thing that some families and students enjoy doing in their leisure time. Customer Abigail Ma says she likes being surrounded by books and she prefers reading physical ones.
I really find it hard to concentrate on the laptop.
The change in technology of books has made people wonder if local bookstores are able to compete and survive. Jane Addams bookshop manager Judy Elmore manages the online orders, but she says she hasn't really noticed a decline in sales.
We do see, our prices have to go change. I mean, due to being competing online, our prices tend to go lower than we would like to see for books, but that's the nature.
Prices Books sells 60% of its books online and has been doing this for 20 years. Owner Bill Thornhill says the in-store business isn't as good as it used to be, but he has started to see some changes since the last few years.
A lot of young students coming in buying books, really excited about buying books, and they don't seem to have that much interest in ebooks. They can't underline their ebooks, and they seem to have an interest in buying something they can actually hold in their hand.
Even though digital books are more accessible, there are still things about a hard copy of a book that can be replaced.
That feel of turning a page, that feel of, setting a heavy book down in your hands, they can't replace that.
Elmore further says, the ultimate goal is to get everyone to keep reading. In Champaign-Urbana, I'm Emma Lee, UI7 News.
A Champaign man is now facing charges after what began as a typical traffic stop. Hakeem Harvey Robinson, 19 years, was arraigned Monday on charges of armed violence and possession with intent to deliver cannabis. When the Champaign police pulled over the vehicle for a traffic violation, the car smelled strongly of cannabis. The police found 76 grams of cannabis and a loaded 9mm handgun.
For the second time in 4 days, stocks plummeted and reached a point known as correction. The Dow dropped more than 1,000 points and NASDAQ fell nearly 300. Dow and Standard & Poor's 500 are now 10% below their records set 2 weeks ago. Stocks have not fallen this low in 2 years. This is the stock's 5th loss in 6 days.
Several apartment complexes on campus and in the surrounding area experienced power outages around 1:50 this afternoon. The Ameren, Illinois outage map shows over a dozen areas where multiple buildings were affected by the power outage. An Ameren representative urges those affected by the outage to contact their help center to restore their power as soon as possible. All power to the affected areas was restored by 4 p.m. this evening.
After the break, more information on a hazardous storm hitting the Chicagoland area this weekend. Also, a sports update from UI7's Sarah Olin.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where the cats go on vacation? New York.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Oh man, has it been so cold lately?
It has, and it's so bad going to class every day, and it's snow and it's icy. It's entirely too much.
Yesterday, I missed the bus twice, and I had to Uber to one of my classes.
It'll be better next time.
If you're headed up north towards the Chicago area for the weekend, be forewarned. There is a winter storm warning in effect. Here is UI7's Kelly Rice with the details.
Good evening, Urbana. The sun is shining today. It is still a little bit chilly with a temperature in about the mid-20s, but we do have a severe weather update for you for this weekend. As you can see here, there is a huge storm rolling in. There is expected to be some snow and some ice, which could make sleet, which could be some very hazardous road conditions. It won't be hitting the Champaign-Urbana area, but it is expected anywhere north of Kankakee. So if you do have plans to travel to the Chicagoland area, just keep in mind they are expecting about 6 to 8 inches of snow, so that may affect your travel plans. And looking at our local temperatures, it's about 23 currently in Champaign-Urbana, a little bit warmer at 36 in Springfield. Bring it over here, 32 in Mattoon and Charleston, and 26 in Danville. And looking at our Midwest temperatures, it is a little bit warmer at 42 in St. Louis, 35 in Louisville, 23 in Des Moines. You can kind of see where those storms are rolling in. It is a little bit chillier there, and 50 in Kansas City. And looking at our national temperatures, it is about 73 in LA, which is a little bit cold for that area this time of the year, but hey, we'll take it over what we have now. 80 in Phoenix and 55 in Denver. A little warmer at 79 in Miami and 51 in Atlanta. And looking at tonight's temperature, it's going to be cloudy with a high of 25 with some south-southeast winds going at 9 miles per hour. And bringing it to tomorrow, it should be warming up with a high of 41, a little bit cloudy with some west-southwest winds at 9 miles per hour. And looking at our 5-day forecast, again, it will be a high of 41 tomorrow. The snow will be coming back on Saturday with a high of 28. A little bit of snow on Sunday morning and afternoon with a high of 24. Hopefully the sun will be peeking through a little bit on Monday with a little bit of clouds with a high of 28. And on Tuesday, a high of 36. So the weather is predicted to be so bad in Chicago that the Chicago Public Schools have actually canceled class for tomorrow.
I can't believe it. I mean, I'm from Chicago, so they don't do that too often, so it must be something serious.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you, Kelly, for coming by to give us weather updates.
Yeah,
and after the break, we have more on sports.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Hey guys, today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Give kisses. Look. Give kisses. Give kisses. You heard how loud that was.
I know,
I heard.
I heard. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Bacon.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice. Or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you. But the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.
Good morning, Illini.
Hey, good morning, Illini, and selamat pagi.
Good morning, Illini.
Joining us now is sports reporter Cole Hankey, who is just back from a news conference with the Illinois athletic director and football coach, where they made a big announcement.
Yeah, you know, it's not every day you get a $5 million gift, is it, Jess?
Wow, seriously?
Yep, former Illinois football player and Illinois alum Steve Levenick, they announced today that he was giving $5 million back to the university for the new Illinois football practice facility. He bought into Josh Whitman and Lovie Smith's system, and now he's ready to give back to the school. Now, you might wonder, where does he get that kind of money? $5 million? You know, that's a lot. He is the former group president of Caterpillar Inc., which you might remember is based in Peoria, or was based. He is now retired. And, yeah, he's back and he's ready to donate, and he's bought into Illinois football.
That's fantastic.
Yep, so he said that he was really sold when he met with Lovie Smith over the summer, I believe, and he had a conversation with him, and he asked him about his coaching style. And hear what Steve Levenick had to say about Lovie Smith.
It's real simple. He said, first you build the man, then you build the player. And that says it all right there. That says who Lovie Smith is. And so you take the combination of these two guys, we got a winner.
You know, that just says it all, doesn't it? With Lovie Smith as your head coach and Josh Whitman, this guy's all in. So
that's awesome. Thank you so much, Cole, for the update.
Now with more on sports, here is UI7's Sarah Olin.
Yes, we have a very exciting weekend coming up for both the Illini and professional athletes. We'll start off with the men's Fighting Illini basketball team. They're coming off a loss to Ohio State Sunday. They will play Wisconsin tonight at 8 p.m. at State Farm Center. Coach Brett Underwood held a press conference about the team's performance.
I think we have a locker room of guys who all want to win. And at the end of the day, do we expect to win? Great question for them. I think that comes from confidence.
The last time the Fighting Illini faced the Badgers, they lost by 25 points. The Illini definitely need to look out for forward Ethan Happ on the Badgers' end. He leads the team in almost every category. This guy's good. 17.5 points per game and 8.5 assists per game. Underwood definitely knows how good he is and commented at the last press conference.
He's averaging 21, 22 points a game for a reason, and you know, just happened to be his night, and guess what? They needed all of them.
While the men worry about Ethan Happ, the women will have their hands full with Hoosier guard Tyra Buss. The Illini will need a big game from Alex Whittinger if they want to knock out the Hoosiers. Whittinger leads the team with points. As you can see, each team relies on their respective stars for a ton of production on both ends of the floor. You can catch this game right at 6 p.m. at BTN+. Now we will go outside of Champaign for a look at the NBA. The NBA trade deadline has officially passed, and the Cleveland Cavaliers took the opportunity to completely blow up their team. The Cavs traded 6 players today, that is right, 6, highlighted by Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade, as well as their 2018 first-round pick. The Cavs and LeBron James were in a downward spiral and are now 7 games back of the conference-leading Celtics. We have about one more day until the opening ceremonies of the 2018 Olympic Winter Games. Even though the games are taking place on the other side of the world, local residents can still root for a familiar face. Former Illini track star Aja Evans will be competing as part of the U.S. women's bobsled team. The bobsled competition for women began on February 20th. Tonight's sports. Thank you all for joining us.
And that wraps up tonight's edition of UI7 News.
Be sure to give us a like on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Or, as always, you can see our stream live every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching.